The early season can be one of the best times to hunt. A lot of hunters will avoid this part of the season because it's still hot, the bugs are still out, but if you hunt in a high pressure area, this is your chance to get out there before anybody else does. But the early season requires a bit of a different tactic than the pre-rut, rut, and post-rut portions of the season. If you try to hunt all of these the same, you're probably not going to have a very successful season. You might see the same does all the time, and I guess if that's what you're after, then you're doing good, but for most of us out there, we are out there looking for a good buck. So in this video, we're going over 5 tips to help you have a more successful early season. But before we get into the video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and make sure you hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a video. Also, down in the comments, let me know if you think you should or should not tag a doe in the early season. And the first tip to early season success is to continuously manage your scent. The early part of the season is typically pretty hot. It doesn't matter how well you wash your clothes in your favorite scent elimination detergent, or if you scrub your skin raw with your favorite soap. Unless you drive right up to your stand or walk naked, you're probably gonna sweat. Wear minimal layers to your stand. Wear a t-shirt and then change into your camo once you get up there. Take your time, because if you're rushing to your stand, you're going to sweat more. Leave yourself plenty of time to get there. And when you get to your stand, don't put on any additional layers until you've had the chance to cool down. And if you're a sweater, a good idea is to take some of these dead downwind field wipes with you to wipe down, some of the worst parts of it. Around your neck, your forehead, lower back is typically a bad spot. I don't want to mention anything else, but wipe down with this and kind of get rid of the worst of the scent. And then what I'll do is I'll spray myself down again with my spray, and then maybe again, an hour or so later. It may be a bit of an overkill, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Now remember, no amount of scent control is going to completely eliminate your odor, so always play the wind. And tip number 2 is to keep those disease-carrying, annoying bugs away. It's kind of hard to be stealthy when you're constantly swatting away swarms of mosquitoes, and it never fails that as soon as you and a deer lock eyes, there is something flying around your face and trying to burrow into your brain. A lot of people will shy away from bug spray because it's got a very noticeable scent. It's a very chemical smell, especially if you use an aerosol bug spray. But there are a lot of different options out there. You have non-aerosol bug sprays, you've got wristbands, you've even got stickers. But my personal favorite, and it's probably no surprise to anybody, is a thermocell. It's quiet, scent-free, easy to use, and it provides a 15-foot radius of protection. What it doesn't protect you from, though, is ticks. That is why I always treat my clothes with permethrin. It lasts a few washes, but I tend to be a little bit paranoid, and I probably retreat almost every time I go out in the woods. It's like, you're sure you turned off the stove, but you have to go home and double check anyway, or my wife with her hair straightener. You just have to double check. And the third early season hunting tip is to avoid morning hunts. This may be a tad controversial, but I firmly believe that you should save your morning hunts for the pre-rut and rut portions of the season. The risk of bumping deer is just too high, and then you'll ruin your morning and your evening hunts. The problem is at the time that you're trying to make your way to your stand, those deer are trying to get to their bedding areas. The chances you are going to cross paths is just too great. It takes nearly perfect habitat setup to ensure that you're not going to be bumping deer as you're stumbling through the woods in the dark. You are much better off sleeping in and hunting the afternoon. If you get to your stand early enough, you'll be in a good spot to cut that deer off when he decides it's time to get back up and eat again. And the fourth early season bow hunting tip is to make sure you're paying attention to cold fronts. Cold fronts get deer moving regardless of the time of the year. I consistently see more deer a day or two after a cold front passes than any other time. And I guarantee if you are paying attention to cold fronts, it's the same for you as well. Deer are starting to put on their winter coats, so a nice 10-degree drop in temperature is going to make them more comfortable getting up and around. They're more likely to visit food sources during daylight hours, to search for does, and to make rubs and scrapes within a few days after a cold front. Deer will travel earlier in the afternoons right after a cold front, so it's a good idea to get to your stand extra early on those days to capitalize on it. And if you see a cold front coming up in the future forecast, you probably should take the afternoon off work. And the fifth tip to having early season success is to not be afraid to break out the grunt call. A lot of hunters think that a grunt call is a pre-rut and rut tool only, but if you do it right, it can be a great call all year round. Early season is when you want to use some soft calling. Overdoing it is a surefire way to blow everything out of the woods. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get his attention. You want him to be curious about who's talking over there. You're not challenging him. Use the grunt sparingly and softly, and don't blind call. Use this when that you've got eyes on him, but his attention is drawn somewhere else. He's feeding away from you, or he's not coming within your range. Give him a grunt, and if he responds, don't call at him again. If he's looking right at you or he's walking toward you and you use that call again, he's going to be able to pinpoint exactly where you are, and you're just going to blow the whole hunt. So that was 5 tips to having early season success. If you have any more tips, make sure you leave those down in the comments below. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.